What is up? Welcome to Every Single Guitars, where the goal of my channel is to review every single guitar ever made. Looking back at my reviews, I've realized that a lot of the guitars that I have reviewed are either intermediate to professional, advanced level guitars. You know, Gibson SG, or a Martin D35, or a Martin D1220, or a Gibson Les Paul recording. So basically guitars that a beginner would never buy and should never buy. In my opinion, if you're starting out playing an instrument, you should never buy a guitar that's over 1,000 or over 500. That's just a waste of money because you don't even know if you're gonna continue playing the instrument. So today I have a intro level, a beginner level Jasmine acoustic guitar, model S34C, made in Indonesia. So for a little bit of backstory, for me, my first acoustic guitar, my first guitar ever, was a really old Samick, made in Korea acoustic. I think it was like a early 90s guitar. My dad got it for me used at a guitar store for like $100. But at that time, I didn't know what was good, what was bad. I just wanted a guitar. And when I got that, I played the hell out of it. And then once I got older, I sold it. So Jasmine, if you don't know the history behind it, I believe they're a parent company of Takamine, which is a pretty well-known and established Japanese acoustic guitar brand, if I'm not mistaken. But just like any big company, if they do well, a lot of the times they branch out to make a sister lower company to sell for more cheaper. So for example, Fender has Squier, Gibson has Epiphone, Lexus has Toyota, etc, etc. So in this case, Takamine has Jasmine. And I thought that it'd say Takamine by Jasmine, but it just says Jasmine, which I do like. I just like how it says the Jasmine brand name. Brand new, you can probably get this for about 120 bucks, maybe 150 at most with tax and whatnot, but below 150. Used, I got this for less than 100 bucks. So it is safe to say that this is a beginner level guitar. First impression, really light guitar, very light. I mean, acoustic guitars are light in general, but this is lighter than most acoustics that I've played. But even though it's light, this is actually very well constructed. Obviously, it's not, they didn't use highest quality woods or highest quality material ever. But that makes sense because this is only 120 bucks. And if you're building a guitar for 120 bucks, you gotta be within a certain budget. I feel like within that $120 to $150 budget, they made the most out of it because, like I said, even though it's light, it's very well constructed. This is, I believe, all laminate. This can't be solid wood for 120, but still very firm, very solid. Even the wood grains on the back looks pretty realistic, to be completely honest. The neck is a slim style neck, not a chunky neck, but it's a good balance between chunky and too skinny. This is actually a really comfortable neck for acoustics. Sometimes even more comfortable than certain Martin necks and Gibson acoustic necks that I've played, which is pretty interesting. This has a cutaway design. Even though it has no electronics, the cutaway makes it very easy to play, on the lower register and also the higher register. Also, I put on electric guitar strings on this because I ran out of acoustic guitar strings. So when it comes to bending, it's very easy to bend. Overall, I mean, this is just a solid entry-level guitar. I'd say that the cheapest thing about this guitar, and something that I would replace if I was buying this guitar and keeping it for a long time, are the tuners. Usually for lower end guitars, they do cheap out on the tuners, and that makes sense because quality tuners by itself are pretty expensive. They're 50 bucks, 60 bucks, sometimes even 100 bucks for really good tuners. But since this entire guitar is 120, 150, it wouldn't make sense for them to, use $40 tuners. So the tuners are, it's like a cheap, I'm not sure if this is metal. This is either a really cheap metal or it's a really high plastic. I can't really tell. You know, just from afar, it does look metal, but when you feel it, it kinda, I feel like it's a really cheap metal. I'm not sure, but this is pretty surprising actually, because usually I can tell if it's metal or if it's plastic, but this is like, I don't know what this is, but in terms of the structure, it's not bad. But when you play it a long time, maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it does go out of tune. Not easily, but it does go out of tune. So tuners are probably one of the biggest things that I would upgrade on this guitar. But when it comes to the other parts, just such as the nut, the bridge quality, the saddle quality, it's pretty good. And surprisingly, this bridge pin is probably the highest quality thing on this guitar. These are actually really nice bridge pins with abalone inlays. Is that stock? Is this stock? This doesn't make sense, because usually these style of bridge pins should be on a higher quality Martin. So I don't know if the other dude replaced it, but you know, for a $120, $150 guitar, this is an excellent intro level, beginner level guitar to start out with. Or even a beater guitar to play, so that you're not worried about damaging your main guitar or whatever. It's a good guitar to take out on a trip, campsite, you know, whatever you guys do. So I'll show you how this guitar sounds. Like I said, I did put on electric guitar strings, so the sound is a little bit thinner and maybe a little bit brighter, but still sounds pretty good. Try with a capo. So for a $120 guitar, it's not bad. Obviously, you can't compare this to a Taylor. You can't compare it to a Martin. You can't compare it to a Gibson Acoustic. So if those are the guitars that you're familiar with in terms of tone, it's not fair for you to judge the difference because it's in a completely different class. This is an entry level, beginner level, probably some people's first guitar ever. So, you know, if you were interested in playing the guitar and you want a budget guitar, something that doesn't break the bank, try this out. This is not a bad guitar at all. But if I were you, I would not put on electric guitar strings. I would put on standard acoustic lights or medium. And if you want to take this to the next level, I suggest upgrading these tuners to something better. But for a $120 guitar, I give this a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. The build quality is a lot better than the tone, and it's hard for me to truly judge the tone because, like I said, these are extremely light gauge strings for acoustics. But overall, this is a solid guitar, solid beginner guitar.